Hey guys, Red here, and today is the hatchet throwing hottie yourself, Huntress. Perks we'll be using today are going to be Corrupt Intervention, Whispers, Barbecue and Chili, and Pop for our regression. Huntress is an amazing killer and has a higher skill ceiling than most. As you get better with her hatchets, you will notice just how quick Huntress can end a chase. Autohaven is a great group of maps for the Huntress as a lot of loops are around short walls, allowing Huntress to throw over top and hit survivors. This makes almost every loop outplayable by a Huntress. I'd never recommend walking through a pallet with survivors on the gen, but I mean if you want to flex, that's one way. One thing to definitely try and practice when playing Huntress is what I call gen check hatchets. It's pressuring survivors while on gens and can net you a free hit or down. This is where most of your across map snipes are going to come from, unless you're Ralph, Umbra, or Queen. Then you kind of just snipe for days and go put them on some montages. I'm more of an average Huntress, but I can maintain my rank with her just fine. When quick flicking like this, keep in mind that it will only change the direction of the hatchet by a very small amount. It doesn't really matter how big of a flick you make, once the hatchet leaves her hand, it's going straight. If you're having a hard time aiming with Huntress, I would recommend trying to lower your mouse sensitivity. This should help you with your aim and tracking quite a bit. My sensitivity is currently set to 50 from 70 and it seemed to help a ton. Though I've thought about lowering it a little bit more as I catch myself flicking more than I should. When survivors try to rotate into me like this, I like to either go for a short flick to follow, or just back up a little bit and go for a more precise hit, depending on what loops are around me. Learning hitboxes was something I had a hard time with for a long time. I always predicted a bit too much on survivor movement and would see the hatchet go right through them. But after some time in custom games, I realized to me that the hitboxes on a survivor tend to always be a little behind when they're running. So keep that in mind when you're aiming. Huntress mains might already know this or have a better knowledge on it, but I felt it was worth mentioning. While I don't do it here, it's worth trying to throw a hatchet back at hook after a save to stop survivors from hook healing, which can waste a few additional seconds or if the throw is good, net you a free hit. Be careful when using the perk Whispers as it can hurt some players by making them waste a lot more time than they would have by looking for a hiding survivor. I only go for a quick look before leaving, and I would only look harder if the gen was about 50 to 75%. While on the topic of Whispers, when heading to check gens, think of a 32-meter circle on top of you and move to check gens that way. For example, notice here how I try to get as left as possible, that way when Whispers does light up, I know that survivors are definitely on that gen and not somewhere else. Some maps are better for this than others, but the rule still applies. A key skill you need to develop as Huntress is throwing over short loops like this. It takes a bit of time to learn, but is a must for playing against better survivors. Also, watch for ducking survivors during chases, as good survivors will know when to duck in order to avoid getting hit. Since I have two down here, I want to make sure to hook her before going for the quick pop, and then hooking the other survivor after, that way I get two uses of pop instead of one. Both gens on that side were 0% under a minute ago. That means in order for it to be finished this quickly, that the remainder of the survivors are on that side currently. I can go for the hook, but I need to watch on that side for when they come. Look at these sneaky gamers. I tried to flick to follow that fast turn, but I should have just held and waited a moment anyways. Hey there, bud. There's a rock there. I'm okay with eating a DS here, as if she makes a poor play and I have a good hatchet, I'll be able to eliminate a player from the game. If you're not confident in your shots or maybe the terrain's just a little rough, make sure to leave her on the ground as bait and hook the other survivor while waiting for the timer to go out. It's important to remove a player from the game, especially as the generators start to go by. Huntress is a super satisfying killer with a high skill ceiling. When it comes down to what tips are the best for her, I would honestly just say it's time investment. You need to play her a ton in order to get the most out of her. While general tips will help the pace of the game, having good throws is what wins it. I'm gonna go ahead and act like I didn't see Lori over there so I can go grab some hatchets and close the ground a bit without her noticing. Throwing over these can be a bit clunky, as well as trying to throw over tires. It's best just to close the distance to get a guaranteed throw. Games like this where survivors are being efficient are the games where it's most important to have a player already dead. This is especially true on larger maps. The survivors this game haven't been the best at looping, but they have been super efficient. This is where some frustrations as a killer can kick in. Remember to stay calm and look to apply stronger pressures such as a kill or numerous slugs to bring the speed to a halt. Survivors might not like it, but you're here to win and they're not entitled to have you follow their code of conduct. With that in mind, don't face camp. It's just not a cool thing to do and it won't make you a better player. You'll also get punished for it in the ranking system. Though if someone's teabagging you, clicking your flashlights, and really doing their best to annoy you, I understand. I don't condone it, but I understand. As Huntress, you don't have to have those amazing across-map hatchets to win games at red ranks, or to maintain rank 1. Those will help you overall, and they are sweet, feel-good moments when you get them, but for the most part, it's all about that chase time, and for Huntress, all chases should end pretty quickly if you're playing on your A game. I come to find out that Mr. Dwight over there is solely dedicated to only doing gens, and not saving his teammates. Even though he had plenty of time to do so, I believe he's just trying to snag some extra points before his certain demise, but still, not cool, and I'll make sure you die for it. When it comes down to the last person alive, Whispers is one of the best perks to have, as it will allow me to find and track down Mr. Dwighty Boy himself. If I'm in an area for too long and he manages to sneak away, it will also let me know by turning off. He managed to gain a lot of distance, but I do see scratch marks on the wall ahead, so I know I can kind of pin him in this area as long as Hatch isn't here. Line of sight blockers can be great mind games for survivors and killers. Let survivors see you go one way, then go the other. It's simple yet effective. This loop itself is a pain to try and get a hatchet through. If you're having a super hard time, try and back up and get a different angle, or just look for the M1. Well everyone, that's it for today. I hope the gameplay was fun and helpful, and if you have a killer that you want to see in the next gameplay, let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you're a Huntress man and have some helpful tips for newer players starting her, help the community out and leave them below as well. If you like the content, make sure to leave a like and a sub. I hope you get to make some crazy across the map hatchets hits in your future games. And until next time, I'm Red, and I'm signing off.
Whatever you told me.